I.S.U.P.K.
I was look on. You read things on Facebook, and especially articles on there said there was, how put it, there was black devils before the white devils.
Okay.
I mean, they said because the black devils was here first.
Okay.
So
what you want to know? What you want to know? How would you respond to that?
Is that a true? Is that would that be a true statement?
Okay. What does the word devil mean?
Someone to do evil things.
That's not what the word devil means, sis. Liar, deceiver. That's what the word devil means, right?
Mm.
Liar, deceiver.
Okay.
Okay, someone that posts something like that, the spirit behind them posting that is because they love white people. And they're trying to say you can't be mad at white people for being the devil because black people lie too, right? That's what that person's saying. Before there was white devils, there was black devils, right?
Right.
Okay. Is that a true statement? Who knows? Actually, it's not who knows. That is not a true statement. We know that the first liar was who? According to the Bible, who was the first liar? Give him a second. Who was the devil?
Going back to the Garden of Eden.
Going back to the Garden of Eden.
That white devil that was in the garden.
Who was the white devil in the garden?
The white man.
You're right, but if you was gonna show somebody in the Bible, who would you be showing them? That's the white devil in the Garden of Eden.
Esau.
No, Esau wasn't in the Garden of Eden.
Right.
Who was in the garden with Adam and Eve that lied?
That white devil, the white man.
If you need to go in the Bible, go in the Bible. No way, you ain't got to memorize everything. That's why you have the Bible. You go to Genesis and go to the 3rd chapter. All right, go down to about verse 10, verse 11. Let's see who the first devil, let's see who the first liar was. All right. Genesis 3. Okay. All right. Verse 3 and 10 is a little bit too far down. Go down to Genesis 3 and 1.
Now the serpent. Oh, Genesis 3 and 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God has made. And he said unto the woman, you hate God. You hate God, said. I understand that.
Yea, hath God. All right. So you know the story from here, right? The serpent told Eve to do what?
to eat the fruit of the tree.
Eat the fruit of the tree. What else did he tell her? That she wouldn't what?
That she wouldn't nothing would happen to her if she ate from the fruit.
He told her she was going to eat from the fruit and she wasn't going to die, right?
Right.
He lied. Now, this serpent, was it a snake?
No.
Who was the serpent?
It was a man.
It was a man. What kind of man?
An evil devil man.
Okay, don't say a devil man. Say what kind of man would he be today? If the serpent, he would be the white man. You want to say that. You understand? The white man is the serpent in the Garden of Eden. The white man is the first liar on the earth. So there was no black devils before there were white devils. You understand? The white man is the first liar. You understand? Mm-hmm. Now, scriptures that you would use to back this up is John 8:44, where Christ said, "You are of your father, the devil," talking to Israelites who were living like Romans, who wanted to be like Romans. The Romans were white people. You understand? Ye are of your father, the devil. Revelation, the 13th chapter, talking about the that great. Let me get it. It says, Revelation 12:9, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. That's talking about the white man. You understand? All those scriptures together, anybody that says that black devils came before white devils, you tell them they a damn liar. They a devil. You understand? The white man is the first, he's the first liar, the greatest liar, and any black man or any heathen that is a liar, they learned it from the white man. Everybody understand? That's how you break that down. You understand? Answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Most High Christ. Come on, Officer Morale.
White man says the devil. I had 2 Israelites tell me that Jesus is white today. I had a sister in the pizza store and a Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah, they just, they dumb as hell. Don't know they left foot from a box of rocks. Yeah, they just dumb as hell. The white man is the devil. Always been the devil. Always will be the devil. Any black person that exhibits behaviors of the devil, they learned it from the white man. Everybody understand? Everything that black people do, every evil thing that we suffer from in the ghetto, in the barrio, on the reservation, comes from our desire to be like white people. Everybody understand? Everything destructive that you see manifesting in the black community is the result of trying to be like white people. All right, tonight we're going to discuss a topic that has crippled the black community in ways that we don't really understand yet. Well, here in I.S.U.P.K, we understand, but the black community in general does not realize how badly following this white concept has crippled our community. All right, tonight we're going to talk about feminism. We're going to talk about feminism and the feminist movement. We're going to talk about black feminism and the destruction of the black family, the black household, and the reason why black relationships are so dysfunctional today. Everybody understand? 1 second. Shalom, bottom teaching class. You gotta call me back after 9, all right? Shalom, no Christ. So, does anybody know what feminism is? Just in the general sense. You don't have to, you got to give me the dictionary definition just yet. Does anybody know what feminism is in the general sense? GEN.YAHANNA.
So when it, like if a male act feminine, like a woman, or vice versa, it could be a female acting like a wanting to be a man.
Okay.
Feminine that way.
Not necessarily. That's being feminine. That's being effeminate. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is feminism. Feminism, it is a philosophy, an ideology, a train of thought. That's what feminism is. Sisters, y'all know what feminism is. If you don't, it's okay. Officer Morale.
Like women empowerment, so like women's rights or something like that.
You want it. Women empowerment, women's rights. I'm going to give you the dictionary definition, all right? Feminism is the belief that men and women should have equal rights and opportunities. All right, the belief that men and women should have equal rights and opportunities. Feminism is also organized activity on behalf of women's rights and interests. All right. So the dictionary defines feminism as a belief. What do we call belief today? Somebody has a belief system. What do we call whatever it is they believe in? Sis. It's a religion. That's exactly what we call it. Christianity is a belief system, right? Islam is a belief system. Buddhism is a belief system. Well, feminism is a belief system. It is a religion. A religion that says what? That women should be equal. That women should be equal in what is it? It's social, political, and cultural aspects of society, right? So today you'll hear feminists. Now, feminist is a person that believes in a woman's right to be equal with a man, right? Feminism is the belief system. A feminist is a person who believes in that belief, right? A feminist is someone that believes that women are equally capable of doing everything that men are capable of doing and should be given all the opportunities to be able to do that. So you could be a man and be a feminist. You could be a woman and be a feminist, right? So what are some of the things that feminists today are constantly crying about, sis? Equal pay. That's the big thing you hear on the news, right? Women should be getting paid the same amount of money for doing the job that men get. We're going to go into that tonight, and we're going to show how there is no such thing as a wage disparity between a man's pay and a woman's pay in the workforce. All right. The reason why women in America are not getting paid as much as men is because they're not working the same jobs that men are working. All right, we will get into that later. But a feminist is someone that believes that women are equally capable of doing everything that men are doing. So women should get paid for the same amount of work that a man does. What are some other things that feminists push for? It's a woman's body, right? Woman's right to choose. Woman can do what she want to do with her body. Woman want to have a baby, that's her right. She don't want to have her baby, that's her right. All right. Give me something else. Give me some things that we deal with culturally, that we deal with in society. Not necessarily at the job, not necessarily, what the law says about a woman and a baby, but some things that women want culturally. What are some things that women want to be equal with a man? Morale.
I be hearing women try to say like a woman is God. I heard something like that a couple times.
Okay, a woman is God. Now, okay,
like it's unfair for us to say that God is a man. That's the exact word.
Unfair to assume God is a man.
Like philosophy wise.
Well, I'm gonna go into a little bit about what feminists push, what the feminism movement was about historically, right? All right, so taking at face value, the definition of feminism doesn't seem like it's a bad thing. It seems like, okay, women should have equal rights. Women should have equal pay. Women should, women work a job, doing the same job as a man. She should get paid what a man get paid. Seems like it's an okay idea, right? Seems like it's nothing bad, nothing horrible. But that's if you take it at face value. But if you start to dig into what feminism is and start to dig into the policies and the beliefs that and the doctrine that the feminist movement has pushed, you'll see that feminism is really a horrible, disgusting, hypocritical thing, right? Feminism, in fact, is not about equal rights for men and women. Feminism is about putting a woman over a man, establishing that women are better, women deserve more, and anyone that stands in the way of that hates women or is an evil man. All right. So in order to better understand what feminism actually promotes, supports, and stands against, we have to take a look at the feminist movement, its founders, the beneficiaries, and modern day spokespersons. All right. Now, this was taken from the Wikipedia. This is the Wikipedia feminism page. All right. It says feminism in parts of the Western world. What is the Western world? Here. What is here? America. What else? What? Why West? What is the Western world west of? Morale. That's a good answer. Rome. If you look at a map, right, and you divide the world in half, and you start at the Mediterranean Sea, right where Rome is, you just draw a line of, let me see it on this map. Here's a little makeshift globe, little BS globe. Okay. Here is, actually, that's perfect, Morale. Here is Rome here, Italy, right? Everybody see that? Everybody see the Mediterranean Sea right here, the Black Sea. If you was to draw an imaginary line up from Italy to the North Pole and down to the South Pole, everything to the west is Western Europe and America. So the west is England, France, Spain, Italy, Germany, Denmark, Sweden, America. That's the west. Everything east is the Middle East, where the Arab countries are, where the Chinese, the Japanese, the Russians, Eastern Europe, and the East. Everybody understand? So the Western world really is the European powers. That includes America because white people colonized America. Everybody understand? Okay, so the first wave of feminism, but in the Western world, feminism has had three phases, right? The first wave feminism was oriented around the station of middle or upper class white women and involved suffrage and political equality. I'll read that one more time. First wave feminism was oriented around the station of middle or upper class white women and involved suffrage and political equality. Does anybody know what suffrage is? Anybody ever heard of the suffrage movement?
Was that where the white women that wanted to get a law passed so their husband would come and beat them all the time?
Yes, that's what suffrage was. Suffrage was a woman's. I'm gonna get the dictionary definition. But the women who argued for women's suffrage was like women's rights to not suffer, to not be abused and taken advantage of and mistreated. You understand? Give me 1 second. Suffrage. It says the right to vote in an election. The right. Hold on. Short answer. That's what it was. The right. But these other words that go along with it. Enfranchisement and vote. All right. So the women's suffrage movement was a movement for women to vote. The reason why women wanted to vote was because they wanted to have a voice to speak out against abuse and suffering and all the horrible things that was happening to them. Also, now the first wave feminism took place during the late 1800s, early 1900s. All right. So we talking about before World War I is when the first women's first wave feminism took place. And you have to understand that history explains that this first wave feminism was solely about middle and upper class white women. You understand? So these are rich white women, wealthy white women that's well off, right? They got together and said, we need to have a voice. We need to be able to vote. We need to be able to have some type of respect. We need to be able to be heard. Everybody understand? Now, what was going on in America around that time that would have made these upper class white women feel like they needed to be able to speak out or be able to have a voice? I'm gonna bring out some quotes tonight from these first wave feminists and some of the things that they said. But real quick, these first wave feminists were upper class white women who were fighting against misogynistic upper class white men, hypocrisy of religion, and imprisonment in a society which they should have had free reign to be what they wanted to do. All right, rich white people in the late 1800s and early 1900s were no different than rich white people today. What do rich white people like to do? Think of Hollywood. Think of, Beverly Hills. Think of the rich white people. What are some of the things that now none of us have lived that lifestyle or know what that lifestyle is all about. But what do we hear that rich white people love to do? Morale.
They love to party.
Love to party. What happens at these rich white parties? Sis. Orgies. Drugs. Nasty sex. You understand? Now, think of what life was like in the late 1800s and the early 1900s. You had a ton of immigrants flooding to America, right? Because America was the place where everybody wanted to be. Well, if I was a rich white man who owned a factory or owned something, I'm a rich white man. What do I do with all my time? What do I do with all my money? I throw expensive parties. I have sex with prostitutes. I have sex with my man friends. Everybody know about the secret societies, right? Everybody know about the boule and all that, them college fraternities and the skull and bones. Well, rich white men in the early 1900s, late 1800s, they hated women. They used women for sex, to make children. They had all types of nasty orgies and man-on-man sex, and they beat their women. They didn't have any care for women because they had money. They had everything at their disposal, right? If you're a rich white woman that is living during this time, you just sitting at home all day doing nothing. You got servants. It ain't like these rich white women is home keepers. Rich white women never learned how to cook until about the 40s. Because they had black servants, they had black house women to cook and to raise their children and do everything for them. These rich white women were tired of being abused and mistreated by their rich white men. And abused and mistreated to a rich white woman is him having sex with the prostitutes, him having sex with his friends at the party. You understand? Him leaving her in the house all day to do nothing but be bored. So these bored white women. Now, if the white men were having orgies and throwing nasty sex parties and doing whatever they wanted to do, what do you think the women wanted to be able to do? Morale. They wanted to be able to do the same thing. Why couldn't they do the same thing? Late 1800s, early 1900s, why couldn't a white woman just go to the orgy party and blow everybody's rod and have sex with whatever man she wanted to have sex with? What was stopping these women from doing what the rich white men were doing? Morale.
Would be a law at that time.
Were there laws against a woman being a hoe? Never been a law against a woman being a hoe. But what did exist? Morale.
Man, beat their ass.
Okay, but these rich white men didn't care. They didn't give a damn about a dead woman being a hoe. They was having sex with hoes all the time. Having sex with men. Why would these rich white men care if their woman was a hoe? Back during this time, society frowned on hoes. The common people frowned on hoes. Why? What was America supposed to be built on? Supposed to be built on Christianity. Wholesome morals and everybody being upright and God-fearing. Well, that didn't apply to rich white people. They didn't give a damn about none of that. But the average white person did care about that. And rich white women could not openly be whores because they would be shamed for it. A double standard existed for men and women during that time, much like it exists now. The double standard was what? A man go out and have sex with a man that's rich and powerful. He can have sex with whoever he want to have sex with, right? But if a woman goes and does it, what is she? She's a hoe. She's a slut. She's disgusting. Nobody wants to touch her, right? Well, that's what these rich white women was mad about. They were mad that they couldn't go out and have the orgy and have sex with the lawn, the cat mowing the lawn, or the maid around the house, the big black man that's washing the clothes. They were mad, right? And because they were mad, they started a movement, not only to get rights, but a movement to be able to decide what they wanted to do with their bodies. The first wave feminist movement was about a woman's right to divorce her husband if she wanted to. The woman's right to wear a condom or put a diaphragm in her body. Women like, what's her name? Goddamn. The one that started the Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger. Margaret Sanger was a a feminist that believed that it was a woman's right to say what she do with her body. If a woman didn't want to have a baby, she could decide not to have a baby. She wanted to wear condoms, she could wear condoms. Now, why would that matter to a rich white woman? Was having children an issue for them? Rich white woman had a baby. Did she have to worry about poverty? Did she have to worry about her baby not being taken care of? So why would a rich white woman not want to have kids? Because she wanted to be free to have strange sex with whoever and not worry about the consequences of having a baby. Everybody understand? For a woman that is a hoe, that is the worst fear, is to have a baby and then to not know who the father is, right? Well, these white women who wanted to party and have the same freedoms that their rich white counterparts had, wanted to be able to say, I'm going to have this nasty, freaky sex with everybody, but I don't want to have to get stuck with a baby and I don't know who the daddy is. Everybody understand? The first wave feminist movement was really about changing the way that people looked at hoe-ass women, if I could just be frank about it. Margaret Sanger was a hoe. You go do some research, she had about 3-4 husbands. At a time in the world when that was just unheard of. You was a woman, you got married, you was that man for life. Well, this white woman wanted to be a hoe and was unashamed about it. Everybody understand? You go back and look at a lot of them first wave feminists from the late 1800s, early 1900s, the ones that wrote all the books that the feminists read, they was hoes. They was sluts, and they wanted to be free to be able to do it. Everybody understand? And remember, this first wave feminism was a white, rich woman's problem. This was not the average woman's problem. This was not a black woman's problem. This was not a Hispanic woman's problem. If you go back in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s, what do we know today about those black families during that time? Was there a problem with marriages? Was there a problem with women and men being happy in their relationship? Was there a problem with hoes? Come on with it. In the black community. No. Was a black woman being a hoe a problem in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s? Why? Why was it not a problem for us? Around.
It's because we was like fresh out of slavery and we wasn't home during that time.
Okay, no. That's not it. That's not it. Why didn't black women get divorced during that time? Why did black families stay together? Sis. Raise the children, take care of the family. But was that the only reason? Was it love there? Was it respect? Was the family structure healthy during that time? Yeah, the family structure was healthy. Black man, black woman, had kids, raised the family, right? Okay. Okay, so the black family was together. The black family was intact, right? At the same time, the white woman is fighting with her man about her ability to do whatever she wants to do, right? Black women didn't have a problem with that. Why? Because the system worked. Because black women were happy. Because getting with a man and being with one man your whole life was the upright thing to do. Also at that time, black men was not accepting no hoes. You was a black man, you did not want to have a hoe, right? If you was the parents of a daughter, the worst thing in the world was for your daughter to be a hoe, right? So we had a system in place that had morals, that had rules, that had, proper structure, and it worked. You go back to the 20s and the 30s and the 40s, black women was having how many kids? Any of y'all in here, how many kids did your grandmother have? 15. Grandmother had 16 kids. How many your grandmother had?
15.
15. Your great grandmother?
My great grandmother. Even my grandmother's had 10, 11.
10, 11. My great grandmother had 23 kids down in Virginia. 23 kids. My grandmother had 7, right? What did we lose from now? Obviously, something was working, right? Black women, they have no problem with 23 babies, 14 babies, 15 kids. That's because sex was held to a high standard in the black community. Sex was not something that just was willy-nilly, and even though it was good and it was fun and it felt good, it actually meant something, right? Even during this time in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s, Men had wives. They may also have had a woman on the side. But guess what that woman on the side was not doing? Sis. She wasn't disrespecting the first wife. You're right. There's something else that she wasn't doing. There's something else that black men decided they would not do in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s. Black man have a family at home, right? 15 kids with his woman. He might have a woman on the other side of town, right? What did black men decide that they would not do to one another? I had my wife at home with my 15 kids. I got another woman on the other side of town with 5 kids. What did I never have to worry about? Sis. No, they found out about each other. What did I not have to worry about? I did not have to worry about the next man having sex with either of my women. Black men had a respect for one another that's Mr. Johnson's wife. That's Mr. Johnson's lady. Nobody touched Mr. Johnson's wife or his lady. You know what that did for black women? Mr. Johnson's wife was secure and happy being his wife, and his lady was happy and secure being his lady. There was respect among black men and black women when it came to sex and relationships. Black men did not accept whores. Black women did not be whores. Everybody understand? Well, at the time when the white man and the white woman is fighting and arguing over her rights and her ability to be free and do what she want to do, the fact black family was happy and wholesome and everything was wonderful, right? These white women in the late 1800s and the early 1900s knew that the white man was the devil the Bible speaks of. You understand? In the late 1800s, early 1900s, rich white men did what they wanted. With immigrants pouring into America, rich white men had an abundance of people to take advantage of. Poor white women were forced to suffer under the hands of these devils. You understand? These men, they brought prostitutes, had sex with children. They had their homosexual secret clubs. They beat their wives and ruled over society with no restraint or no restriction. There were no laws in place to protect a woman from being beaten. There were no laws in place to protect a woman from being raped. Everybody understand? Now, when I say there was no laws to protect a woman from being raped, they wasn't just full out raping women in the streets. Everybody understand? But they would have a party and invite women and pay them to come to the party. Now, once you get to the party, you was there to be used however the rich white man wanted to use you. Everybody understand? Anybody ever read that book, The Great Gatsby? The Great Gatsby was a book about that time in the 20s and the 30s, and it was full of hoes and partying and drugs and the nasty, horrible life that white people was living. Everybody understand? Well, the first wave feminism was spawned out of that time. You understand? These white women got together, they protested and they marched and they fought, right? Their greatest accomplishment came in the 1917, and I believe in 1917, when they passed the Prohibition Law. Is everybody familiar with Prohibition? What was the Prohibition Law? Sis. Made alcohol illegal. Alcohol was made illegal because white men beat their women that much. White men, you know, his life was go to work, get drunk, beat her to death. And white women was tired of being beaten to death. So they made a push in the government to make them outlaw alcohol. Now, what was the result of prohibition? What was the result of alcohol being outlawed in America? Sis. The mob. Organized crime was the result of women getting a right passed. Everybody understand? The people came together and said, all right, women, y'all getting beat. Okay, no problem. Alcohol is illegal. Alcohol was made illegal. All the Italians who was importing all of the alcohol said, no sweat, we're going to make some money. So for about 15, I believe it was 10, 12 years, prohibition was the law. White men, you know, took over America, smuggling alcohol, selling alcohol, got rich. All right. And eventually prohibition was done away with. But the let me see what year prohibition came in.
Kennedy got rich.
Yeah, prohibition came in 1920 to 1933. So 1920 passed the law, no alcohol. 1933, so many people had died, so much money was made by the Italians. The government said, all right, man, we're gonna let everybody get drunk. All right. But that's how bad it was with white men. Why? Because white men by nature are beasts. They homosexuals. They hate women. You understand? You go research white culture. White culture has always been about brutality, about rape, about molesting, about, you know, forcefully taking what you wanted. That whole culture of rape and beating a woman over the head and drugging her up and giving her a pill to make her pass out so you can have sex with her comes from white people. Them white women was suffering. They knew that them white men was evil as hell, and they wanted to have some freedom from those white men. Everybody understand? You read some of the stuff that these feminists put out back in the day, they felt like marriage was slavery. Like getting married was slavery because the man that they was getting married to was that much of a monster and a demon. You understand? Come on, you want somebody to say something? Come on with it.
And that much goes all the way back to Rome.
Come on.
They started that. They probably might have been before it, but they started. I believe they started at Rome. It was crazy.
God, if you go look at their culture, the way that their culture was set up, it was the same way America is today, the same way America was 100 years ago. Y'all understand? Rich white men did whatever they wanted to do because that was just, you know, the thing. That's what they had power to do. You understand? And their power, because they're such a corrupt people and such an evil people, with no laws or with no one to say, hey, man, you can't do that. White men was just doing anything. Everybody understand? So the white women wanted to be able to do the same thing that the rich white men were doing. But religious restrictions kept women from being whores. The possibility of becoming pregnant halted, you understand, their promiscuity, and bored, rich, wealthy, lonely, hoe-ass white women wanted to be free. So the first wave of feminism was a fight against misogyny, patriarchy, and sexism. All right, so I'm gonna give y'all a couple of definitions so we can understand what misogyny, patriarchy, and sexism is. Misogyny is the hatred or dislike of women or girls. Misogyny can be manifested in numerous ways, including sexual discrimination, hostility, male supremacist ideas, belittling of women, violence against women, and sexual objectification of women. Everybody understands? Misogyny is white people's culture. White culture is misogyny. It is hatred against women. Everybody understands? Just think of all of the popular views of women that exist in the media today. The most popular woman is the one that's the biggest whore, right? The most naked. The one that has, you know, the porn industry is so rich and so famous, made so much money in the 60s and 70s because that is what white men like. A nasty, disgusting thing that'll, you know, let you do anything with any hole and with any man. That's misogyny. That's hatred against women. Everybody understand? A woman's right to sexual freedom, to be able to have sex with whoever she wants to have sex with. That is belittling to women. You understand? That is what sexually objectifies a woman, and it is a result of white culture. With them earliest white women that was in the feminist movement, they was fighting against white man's hatred of women, all right? Patriarchy is a social system in which males hold primary power, predominate in roles of political leadership, moral authority, social privilege, and control of property. In the domain of the family, fathers or father figures hold authority over women and children. Some patriarchal societies are also patrilineal, meaning that property and title are inherited by the male lineage and descent is reckoned exclusively through the male line, sometimes to the point where significantly more male relatives take precedence over female relatives. Now, where does the system of patriarchy come from? Does anybody know? I'm gonna read it one more time. But does everybody understand what I just read about patriarchy? Patriarchy is a social system in which males hold primary power, predominate in roles of political leadership, moral authority, social privilege, and control of property. Where does that system come from? Sis? Huh?
Middle East.
A little bit
Like the Middle East.
No. Well, okay. Yeah, but okay. When I say where it comes from, meaning Where did white people learn it from? Where was it first established? Where can you go read about a patriarchal society that was first established on the earth? No, not the Egyptians.
Before the Egyptians, you want to go back to Babylon, or you want to go to Rome?
I want the first great patriarchal society that you can read about.
Babylon.
No, not Babylon. Morocco. Israel. The Bible. The Bible. Our nation was established as a patriarchal society. Who holds all the power in our nation? Morocco.
A king, which is a man.
Okay, don't just think. Period. Don't think of king. You read the Bible. Who's the Bible focusing on?
Right.
No. Think of from the Bible. You read about when you're reading in the Bible, who is the Most High always talking to? Sis. I said the Most High, not Christ. I'm talking about the whole Bible, y'all, from the beginning to the end.
Who are you talking to?
Who's the Most High always talking to? Come on with it.
Israelites.
Yeah, but who among the Israelites? If the Israelites are society, who's the Most High always dealing with in that society?
The prophets.
Who are the prophets? Sis. The men. The Lord always dealt with men. Everybody understand? Our nation was established as a patriarchal society. Everybody, all the power and authority was centralized on the father, a male figure. You understand? All government positions. All right, we're going to get some scriptures just so y'all can understand what a patriarchal society is. All right? Get some scriptures. Give me Ezekiel 34 and 31. Who out in the hallway?
Sharm off and Tazi out. So.
Oh, all right. What time the sunset? Well, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Y'all can read and answer questions too. Y'all know that, right?
Ezekiel what?
34 and 31. More I'm gonna have you read, all right?
God overcome. Ezekiel. Ezekiel, chapter 34, verse 31. I put some hands up too. And ye, my flock, the flock of my pastor, are men.
The what?
The flock of my pastor are men.
God said in the Bible, when he's speaking to Israel, he said, ye are my flock. The flock of my pasture are men. Everybody understand? The Most High is a shepherd or a leader, then those that he's leading and guiding are men. Everybody understand that?
Come.
Give me Exodus 3 and 15. Exodus 3 and 15. Mataziala, I want you to read. We know that we were made in the Most High's image, right? We supposed to be like the Most High, right? Give me Exodus 3 and 15. I mean, Exodus 15 and 3. So look, 15 and 3.
Exodus chapter 15, verse 3. The Lord is a man of war.
Say it again.
The Lord is a man of war.
The Most High is a man of war. Everybody understand that? So what does the Most High want us to be? Men of war. You understand? Soldiers. Ready to fight. Women are not soldiers. Everybody understand? The Lord did not establish women to fight in battles and fight in wars. Everybody understand? The Lord said, the flock of my pasture are men. The Lord is a man of war. Give me 1 Corinthians chapter 3. Not 1 Corinthians chapter 3. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3.
Chapter 11, verse 3. What I wouldn't have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ. That means Christ is up at the top, man is underneath. Read on.
And the head of the woman is the man.
And what?
And the head of the woman is the man.
And the head of the woman is the man. So it's Christ, it's men, then it's women. Read on.
And the head of Christ is God.
And the head of Christ is God. So at the top there's God, then Christ, then men and women. Everybody understand? That is the hierarchy of a patriarchal society where men are above women. Now, according to the Bible, what does it mean for a man to be above a woman? What is a man's responsibility? What is a woman's responsibility? Does a man being over a woman means that women ain't nothing? Does a man being above a woman mean that women don't have a voice? What does a man being over a woman mean? What is a man's responsibility when it comes to a woman? Moran.
You gotta teach the woman, protect the woman. Got a guy. Basically, he rule over the woman, but you gotta teach the woman and protect the woman.
Okay, so what does it mean to rule over a woman? You use the word rule over. What does it mean to rule over a woman?
You have power. You in charge.
So what does that mean? You're right. What does that mean? That you're in charge of a woman.
Okay, you're responsible for what happens. If anything happens, you the one. That's fine. Being
over someone means that you are responsible for them. Everybody understand? Our society was established for men to be responsible over women. That is what it means to rule over a woman. Everybody understand? Ruling over a woman is not give you authority to abuse her, to treat her like a dog, treat her like she's less than a human. Everybody understands? White women hated the idea of patriarchy because white men treated white women like dogs. Like they wasn't worth the spit on the bottom of a shoe. Like, you know, all they was good for was sex and shutting up and making a sandwich. And I'm going to go see the hoes, you know, this weekend. That is not how a marriage is supposed to be according to the Bible. According to the Bible, ruling over a woman means that you are responsible for her. In our society, there's a reason why a father would give his daughter over to a man. What does a father do for his daughter for the first 17 years of her life? What is a father's responsibility?
Protect her.
To protect her. What else? Come on.
Teach her.
To teach her. Teach her what? Teach her how to be a hoe. No. Teach her how to twerk. Teach her how to, you know, shake what her mama gave her. What is a father's job when it comes to his daughter? Sis. To guide her in the right direction. To be the example for her of what a man's supposed to be like. Back in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s, we had fathers who cared about their daughters, who raised their daughters the right way, which is why them sisters that got married in the 50s and the 60s had good relationships. Which was why our grandparents stayed together for so long, because most of them had an example of what a good woman and a good man was like. Everybody understand? Well, in white people's society, they didn't have that. Patriarchy in the white society was the white man getting drunk and beating a woman. Everybody understand? Patriarchy in the white society was a woman getting married to a man and being miserable for the rest of her life. Everybody understand? Which is why the feminist movement fought against the system of patriarchy. To white women, a man ruling over them or a man having authority over them is like being a dog. You understand? Because white men are cruel and are evil and do not know how to be right. Everybody understand? But again, this was not a black problem. This was rich white women arguing and fighting with rich white men. All right. They also fought against sexism or gender discrimination. All right. Sexism is prejudice or discrimination based on a person's sex or gender. Sexism can affect any, now, I want to say that one more time. Sexism or gender discrimination is prejudice or discrimination based on a person's sex or gender. Sexism can affect any gender, but it is particularly documented as affecting women and girls. It has been linked to stereotypes and gender roles and may include the belief that one sex or gender is intrinsically superior to another. Does everybody understand what sexism is? Can somebody give me an example of sexism? Moran.
How they say how you saying this a man's job, this a woman's job, bro? Something like
That's
that.
sexism. Give me an example of that. Give me an example of a man's job.
Like construction and all that stuff.
Construction, right? That's to say construction is for men and not for women. That is a sexist thing to say, right? Give me something else that's sexist. I'll give you a big one. A man can have more than one wife. A woman can. That is sexist, right? Give me something else. I'll give you small examples of sexism. A man should hold the door open for a woman. That's sexist, right? Because what about the men who want the door open for them? And when we go out to dinner for the first date, a man's supposed to pay the bill. But that's sexist. What if I wanted my dinner paid for? Everybody understand? Sexism is stereotypes that apply to men and women, right? Now, these white broads don't want a man to hold the door open for them. These white broads don't want, a man to pay for the meal. They want to be independent and free to open their own door. Like that's how, okay. This is how petty white women are. Y'all understand? These white women in the 1800s and the 20s were so bored that they wanted to argue with rich white men about why you opening the door for me? Why are you pulling out my chair? Why are you paying for my meal? Is that a black people problem? What black woman don't want you to open the door for them? What black woman don't want you to pull out her chair when y'all go to eat? What black woman don't want you to pay for the first meal? Now, if we all was to be feminists, then we could just say, well, you know what, baby girl, I don't want to pay for this meal. You should be taking me out. You should open my door. You should pull out my chair. Now, what kind of man would that make you though? You understand? Now, that's okay. You cannot be, okay, the opposite of being a feminist is being a sexist. If you are a person who identifies with gender roles, who says a man's supposed to do this and a woman's supposed to do that, then you are the opposite of feminist. Everybody understand? So in turn, what does feminism steal from a man and a woman? If I'm sexist, if I agree that certain things a man should do, that certain things a woman should do, if I'm a feminist, then I take away what from a man and a woman? Marah.
The structure.
Take away their structure. This is what I take away. This is what feminism takes away. It takes away what women and men were naturally given. What were women naturally given that made them good for a man? Sisters. It's not something that's physical. It ain't. This ain't the key in the lock conversation. This is what do women have naturally that a man needs? Sis. Nurture. They're nurturing. Give me some other things. Give me something give me a word that sums up all of the good things about a woman. They nurturing, they compassionate, they caring, they gentle, they sweet, they soft. What is a word that says what all of that is in a woman? Sensitivity is a good one. I'm looking for another word that only can be applied to a woman. Sensitivity, a man can be sensitive. I want a word that only applies to women. Femininity. Femininity is what a woman, it's God's gift to a woman. Because every man needs some femininity from a woman, right? But if you're a feminist, you lose your femininity. You can't be sweet and soft and cute and kind and sensitive. If you're a feminist woman, you don't identify with that. You don't want there to be no gender roles. So guess what you will be? You'll be cold and tough and mean and staunch like a man. What does feminism take away from a man? What does every woman need that a man has? Sis. his masculinity, his strength, his protection, his baby, that deep voice, baby, it's gonna be all right. You understand that reassurance? If you're a feminist, a man can't be that because he identifies with the stereotypes of gender roles. He can't be strong and masculine and baby, it's gonna be all right. He's got to be ooh, and in touch with his feminine side. Everybody understands? Feminism is what laid the groundwork for homosexual acceptance. This homosexuality we see today, this whole metrosexualism, these men dressing like women and, you know, non-gender specific clothes and bathrooms and all of that BS, it is a result of what bored, lonely, miserable ass white women decided they wanted society to be like in the 1920s. Everybody understand? To be a feminist, you have to be against sexism. You have to be against identifying a man as a man and a woman as a woman. The whole idea that anybody can be whatever they want to be came from these hoe ass white women. Everybody understands? Now, what else must have been going on with these white women if they did not want to identify with gender roles? What kind of a woman doesn't want to be feminine? What kind of a woman doesn't want a man to be masculine? Marah.
A woman that wants power.
Okay, it's a little more than that. She wants, sis. They lesbians. They bull daggers. They dykes. These is old miserable white women who being beat by their drunk husbands. What are they doing when their drunk husbands is at an orgy with all of the hoes and the drugs and their gay friends? Sis. They're having a woman orgy with, you know, whatever white women was doing at that time. Everybody understand? How do we know this? How do we know that these early feminist women were lesbians? Give me one way we can know that the earliest feminists were lesbians. Marah. Come on, Sharmoff. Because the feminist movement today is lesbians, ran by lesbians. Everybody understand? Feminist movement has always been ran by lesbians or women who wanted to have a man's spirit. And how can a woman who wants to be a man overrun a man? What is the only way a woman who wants to be a man can have power over a man? Sis. To have that man not be a man. No woman is able to match a man. A woman can't outman a man. You can't be more of a man than me. I was born to be this. I was born to be strong and masculine and authoritative. Well, for a woman who wants to be strong and masculine and authoritative, the only way she can beat me or combat me or fight with me is if I become more feminine. Is if I become more ladylike. You understand? That is the only way she can outman a man. That is what these lesbians have been pushing for. Everybody understand? In actuality, feminism is the white woman's arm of white supremacy. Everybody understand? The white man's white supremacy from the white man is what? Marah.
Like racism and slavery and
slavery, racism, oppression, drugs, passing laws. You understand? Controlling the TV, controlling the radio, media, entertainment, sports. That's white man's supremacy. That's white supremacy from the white man. Everybody understand? It's to force you to serve him because you don't have no goddamn choice. Force you to believe in his God because if you don't, he'll beat your back and, you know, rape your woman and do whatever he can. That is how the white man pushed his white supremacy. White women pushed white supremacy by becoming like white men, by becoming oppressive, authoritative, robbing a man of his masculinity, robbing a woman of her femininity. Everybody understand? So feminism is the white woman's arm of white supremacy. Now, the first wave of feminism was white women fighting against white men. It went away for a while because women got the right to vote. Women got the different rights and protections that they wanted to get from the law. So the second wave of feminism came when? When did feminism really turn? When did feminism start to affect black women, sis? When they wanted to vote. Around what time was that? Who else wanted to vote at the same time that the women wanted to vote?
Black people.
Black people. The second wave of feminism came off the heels of the civil rights movement. As black men was building steam and getting the movement going and coming together and being strong and fighting against the government, fighting against oppression, here came white women saying, oh, Mr. Black Man, let us join you. You want to go back and look at some of them old tapes of Martin Luther King and them marching and all of that shit? You want to know why white women was there? Because white women wanted to get their rights too. White women wanted to fight, to join the fight that the black man was fighting so that she could get some respect. Now, why? She'd already had her respect. What did the white woman fear with the civil rights movement? Why was it important for white women to get their right to vote while the black man got their right to vote? Marah.
So they could be able to keep their men in power, like the vote their men in power.
Okay, don't think about that. Don't think about that. Don't think of it like that, because remember, these white women hate men. They hate white men. They ain't agreeing. They want to fight against white men. Come on with it. Come on, Matazial.
Because black women would have rights that they wouldn't have. Like you over there.
Okay, don't think the black women. The civil rights movement wasn't about black women voting. It was about black people voting. You right. Them white women refused to be under niggas. Everybody understand? Them white women that joined up with the civil rights movement to get the women's right to vote feared becoming less than niggas. They were afraid that if these niggas get the right to vote and we don't have the right to vote, that means that black nigga men is better than us. They on a higher level than us. Everybody understand? So they got into the civil rights movement and started to push for white women to be able to vote at the same time that black men were trying to get the right to vote, right? Now, so this was in the 60s, late 60s, right? Well, 64, 65, the civil rights bill was passed. Black people got the right to vote. You see when women got the right to vote. Anybody know? Come on, sis. 68? About to find out. Okay, find out. Boom, boom. Okay, hold on. Gosh, hold up. 19th Amendment. Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. Okay, this saying the 19th Amendment was passed in 1920. It gave women the right to vote. Let me see something. Hold on.
That was white women, though.
Oh, that was white women. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, that was white women.
Ours in the late 60s. I don't know exactly a year.
Okay, so the black woman's right to vote came along with the black man's right to vote. Okay. So the second wave of feminism came during the black civil rights movement when white women got with black women for them to fight for the right to vote. Everybody understand? Now, what happened during that time is black women started to see that the white feminist movement was not equal with black women's suffering, because the things that white women were suffering from, black women did not suffer from. Black women did not have the problems that rich white women had, right? And because black women saw that, hey, the shit that y'all dealing with is not what we dealing with, black women saw a need to start their own movement. Now, this is the late 60s, early 70s. This is during the time of the Black Panthers. This is after the Civil Rights Movement, right? It's during the time of the Black Panthers standing strong. The Vietnam War is going on. They sending our black men over there to die. At the same time, the white women came into the black community and got in black women's minds to have them fight for things like welfare, to fight for things like government assistance, right? What black women didn't understand, though, okay, because of the brainwashing of feminism, black women began to feel a need to be independent when they had no need to be independent. Black women began to feel like, yeah, why should I sit in this house all day watching these kids and washing these dishes and doing these clothes when I could be doing other things? Black women get drawn into the white woman's fight against white men. But the white women got the black women to fight against their man over shit that they didn't even need to fight about. Everybody understand? But in order for a black woman to feel independent, to feel safe, to feel like she accomplished something, she had to mimic the white woman in fighting against her man. But the black woman fighting against the black man destroyed the little bit of stability that black people had during that time. I'm gonna run up now. I'm gonna go through a couple things as I read through this black feminism, right? It's a couple things that y'all have to understand. This all occurred at a time when black people were given their rights by the government to be niggas, right? To be equal. After the 60s, you know what I'm saying, that black people could vote, black people could live where they want to live, work wherever they want. I mean, work at the whatever place would hire them. They could move into white communities now. They could live around white people, catch the bus with white people. There began a intermingling with black men, white women, white men, black women, right? White women were free to do things that black women were not free to do. What are some of those things? White women had been fighting since the late 1800s for the ability to do what? Morale.
Power.
What kind of power? White women was not running the government. White women were not running Fortune 500 companies. But white women did have the right to be something that black women had not yet gained. Anybody know who Elizabeth Taylor is? Anybody know who Marilyn Monroe is? Anybody know who Betty White is? What do all three of those women have in common? Sis. White actresses. What else? They were what? They were working. And something else. Y'all missing the big thing they all had in common.
They rich.
They was rich. Y'all missing the big thing. Yana Kwan.
They were for Bob Mary, they was
What? Come on.
the version they said.
Nah, nothing about Mary.
It was a hoe.
They was hoes. They were hoes. Elizabeth Taylor. Now, what's Marilyn Monroe famous for? Anybody? Oh, who was she a hoe? How did everybody know she was a hoe?
Married like what, 6, 7 times?
Marilyn Monroe never married. She just slept with everybody.
Raise your hands, sir. Raise your hand. Marilyn Monroe did what?
She slept with senators, actors, governors.
She was a Capitol Hill slut. She had sex with John Kennedy and then sang happy birthday to him while his wife was there. She on the table, she on the piano. She on the piano at the president's birthday, singing like she about to give him a blowjob while his wife and family was there. Marilyn Monroe was maybe the first famous whore, and she was accepted. Elizabeth Taylor had about 9 husbands. Betty White, famous white hoe. Back in like the 50s and the 60s, Betty White was like a slut, and it was cool. She was like Pamela Anderson, but back in the 50s and 60s, white women had already gained the right to be a whore and to be a slut, and nobody would say anything about it. But in the 60s and the 70s, black women being hoes still was unacceptable. You understand? It wasn't until around Vietnam when heroin got into the black community that black prostitution even became a thing. Like a black woman being a prostitute was, okay, that was only something white men did. Like, there was black prostitutes, but they were only for white men. Black men weren't dealing in prostitution prior to, you know, the late 60s, early 70s. Everybody understand? But along with that feminist movement, them white women was pushing on black women the freedom to be, you know, explore their sexuality. Freedom to be who you want to be. You don't have to be tied down to one man. You don't have to marry. Who says that you're supposed to marry when you're 15 and be with that one man the rest of your life? If he ain't treating you right, you can, you know, get somebody else. All of the beliefs of an independent woman came from feminism. Everybody understand? And during the Black Panther movement, what were a lot of black men doing? During the late 60s, early 70s, with the newfound ability to go live in white people's neighborhoods and shop at white people's stores, what was a lot of black men doing?
Coming together.
No, that's not what they was doing.
White women.
Sleeping with white women. And what do you think that made black women feel? How do you think black women felt after the civil rights movement, after fighting the push and marching to be able to vote and get rights? The first thing black men started to turn around and do is have sex with white women. How do you think black women felt? Sharma, go ahead and do that.
They felt bad.
They felt bad. They felt neglected. They felt like they were used. They felt like they were unappreciated. They felt like, you know, belittled. You understand? And what do black women do when they feel that way? Sis. They act out. They act out. The black woman's way of acting out was black feminism. It was black women saying, you know what? I don't need a man. Do it all by myself. I can raise these kids. I can do this and that. Now, with the Vietnam War, it came, a lot of black men was taken out of the black community. A lot of black men was taken and sent to fight in that war. And a lot of the men that came home from fighting that war, they came back on drugs. During the time of the Vietnam War, America had an economic downturn, meaning things slowed up. There wasn't a lot of jobs. Another thing that happened between the 40s and the 60s, the black community thrived because of World War II. After World War II, or during World War II, while all them white men was going overseas to fight and die in Germany and fucking England and France, black men was getting jobs. White women was getting jobs. Black women was getting jobs. Every factory job, every bus driver job, all of those jobs were black men's jobs because the white men was going over there dying by the millions. All right. So after the World War II was over, black people in every major industrial city was living good. Washington, D.C., Chicago, New York City, out there in California, you know, Detroit, Oklahoma, all of the major cities where there was a lot of industrialization going on, meaning there's a lot of buildings being built, a lot of factories producing cars, all of those things black people locked down because of their experience during World War II, getting all of those jobs. That's why cities like Detroit with the car manufacturers, cities like New York with all the construction, cities like Chicago. Everybody remember the Muslims, right? When they came up in Chicago real heavy. Well, the Muslims had food programs where they was feeding a ton of people, had whole supply lines up the Ohio River Valley. How was they able to get all of that infrastructure? Because during World War II, when white men was out there fighting, black people was building. You understand? White people knew that they had to fight against that. They had to combat that. And they used the Vietnam War to do it. Vietnam War came, they sent a whole generation of young, talented black men to go fight in the white man's war. And them young black men went to go fight in Vietnam because of the Vietnam War and because of the country not supporting it like they did World War II. A lot of jobs started to shut down. It started to be a crunch in a lot of the major cities with the jobs. So a lot of black men weren't able to do for their families the way that they had been able to prior. You understand? And at the same time that a lot of black men was being put out of these jobs, the white women was whispering in black women's ears, telling them, go get that welfare. Go get that government assistance. Go get the food stamp. Go get, you know what I'm saying, get you project housing. All of that stuff came about around the same time, and it was white women's way of teaching black women to fight against their men. Does anybody know what the requirements of welfare were during the 60s and the 70s for a black woman? Could not have a man in the house. The only way she was going to get government assistance was if there was no man in the house. So what happened to the black men who couldn't be in the house?
Oh my God.
Some of them was out there, some of them was away fighting the war, right? What about the ones that was here? What was they doing? If the money the woman was going to get with the kids from the government was better than the money he could make not having a job or trying to work a job, what did that black man have to do?
Sell drugs.
He had to go hustle. He had to be out the house. You're not in the house, you ain't got a job, what you gonna do? You're gonna hustle. Now, this is at a time where the only way you can be a man is if you provide for your family. The only way you can be a man is if you get some type of money coming in. How you gonna be a man and look a woman in her eyes and you can't bring no food and put it on the table? Everybody understand? This is what sprang black men into the criminal culture. This is what sprang black men into selling drugs, into pimping. You understand? Into criminal life was to try and be a man for these black women who now were feeling like, I don't need you. Everybody understand? At the same time, the black women was telling black men they didn't need them. They were needing them. For what? What does a woman need a man for, even if she thinks she don't need a man? Sex. What man wants to be with a woman that doesn't think she needs him? No man. So guess what? These men who are now being belittled, being pushed aside by society, these men who are coming back from fighting a war, who were on drugs, who are they having sex with? Sis. Nah, not just the white. They was having sex with white women, but the white women wasn't having sex with the drug addict black man. She was having sex with all the strong, smart ones that went to college and got a good job. So a black woman that thinks she don't need a man, but still wants to have sex, who's having sex with her? Come on with it.
The one the drug dealer, the ones, that have sex with everybody, the junkies.
Now, if a man has sex with a woman who doesn't at once, who says to him, I don't need you, how does that man feel about that woman?
Hey, you don't care about it.
You don't care about it. Any man that'll have sex with a woman that says, I don't need you, I don't care about you, I just want sex from you, does not care about that woman. Because every man knows that if she's giving me sex, then she also needs me. Everybody understand? But because of the drugs and the oppression and the suffering that we was going through in the 70s, black men just said to hell with that. There ain't no honorable women out here anyway. The man who in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s had a wife with 15 kids and a woman on the other side of town with 5. In the 70s, that woman he had with all them kids kicked him out the house so that she could get the government assistance. All that money. His side woman that he used to be able to go to on the other side of town, she kicked him out too. So guess what? That black man was gonna find someone to have sex with. Them black women who didn't have that man that she had all these kids with, and the one on the other side of town who no longer wanted to deal with him, she wanted to have sex with somebody. You understand? So she found a drug dealer. She found a hustler. She found somebody that could help her put food on the table. And that is where the beginning of the end of black respect, when it came to sex, that's when it started to come. Everybody understand? Black women feeling like they were independent and didn't need a man, and black men feeling like, well, fuck these hoes. If she gonna give me the pussy, I'm gonna take it. That's where we started to not care about one another. Everybody understand? Right off the now, I'm gonna go into black feminism so we can understand how black feminism was different from white feminism. Everybody understand? Here's the definition from Wikipedia. It says black feminism is a school of thought which argues that sexism, class oppression, gender identity, and racism are inextricably bound together. So white feminism was about white upper class women, right? And the problems they had being in a white male run society. Well, black feminism wasn't about just being a woman. Black feminism was about being a woman, was about being poor. It was about being black. It's about being a woman, being poor, being being heterosexual or homosexual, meaning being straight or lesbian, and being black. So these are all the problems that black feminists were dealing with. You understand? They was dealing with oppression because they was women, because they were poor, because they were black, and because some of them were gay. Everybody understand? The way these concepts relate to each other is called intersectionality. The term intersectionality theory was first coined by legal scholar Kimberly Crenshaw in 1989. In her work, Crenshaw discussed black feminism, which argues that the experience of being a black woman cannot be understood in terms of being black or of being a woman. Each concept is considered independently and must include the interactions which frequently reinforce each other, and also motherhood is very important. Now, as I start to break down black feminism, I'm going to dismantle the whole belief, because black feminism is a myth. Everybody understand? The idea that black women are oppressed because they're women, because they're black, and because they're poor or come from poor communities is a lie. Everybody understand? Well, okay, when I say it's a lie, meaning black feminism paints every black woman as being a victim, right? Black women are victims. They black, they women, they come from poor communities, and the world is against them, right? But at the same time, these victims are independent. They strong. They don't need anybody. At the same time, they depend on the government for everything. They depend on the government for housing, for assistance, for welfare, for WIC. The government gives women better opportunities in school, in college, in entry-level job positions. Everything in this society is catered towards women. Everybody understand? It is impossible for you to be a woman, be a victim, and be independent and strong. How does it work? How are you a woman who's a victim, has all of these government programs on your side, but yet you're independent and strong and don't need no man? Can a woman be all of that? Can you? Nah, it's impossible. It is impossible. It's impossible to be a victim.
Oh, yeah,
right? You suffering this oppression, you're a victim. At the same time, while you being a victim and you oppressed, you go to the government for anything and they give it to you. Black woman homeless on the streets, where can she go? Right now. Sis, go to women's shelter. Are they gonna deny you? And let you in tonight. Right now. Black woman that's homeless can go and get in a black woman's shelter. That's a system, that is a program that is in place for black women. Black man that's poor and homeless, where can he go? Sis, the park. Is there a man's jail? You're gonna go to jail. Is there a man's shelter? How many of them? In the city of Philadelphia, how many of them?
I don't know. I see a lot of homeless brothers.
Is there a homeless black? Is there a homeless man, not black, homeless man shelter in the city of Philadelphia? One. How many women's shelters are there?
Every neighborhood.
Y'all understand? That's feminism. Thought it was supposed to be about equality, though. Thought it was supposed to be about no gender roles, no gender specificity. Feminism is about giving women everything they need to succeed, while at the same time showing you how much of a victim they are and how much they, are society is against them. Everybody understand? Feminism is a religion that caters to a woman's emotions and instability, which is why if you ever have an argument with a feminist, she will never make sense, and she'll resort to yelling, crying, or telling you that you hate women. Everybody understands? Because the arguments of a feminist do not make any sense. Everybody understands? But I'm gonna continue on a little bit with the history of these early black feminists. All right. Feminism at its core is a movement to abolish the inequalities women face. That's the credo. That's what we read at the beginning, right? The whole point of feminism is to get rid of all the inequality. The Combahee River Collective argued in 1974 that the liberation of black women, now this is the freedom of black women, right? It's how black women get free, entails freedom for all people, since it would require the end of racism, sexism, and class oppression. Black feminists became popular in the 1960s in response to the sexism of the civil rights movement and racism of the feminist movement. So the black feminists rose up because the civil rights movement was only about black men. So they had to have a voice for black women. The feminist movement was only about white women. So they had to have a voice for black women. Everybody understand? So the black feminists rose up in between of the black man trying to get rights and the white woman trying to get rights. All right. I'm gonna read on. Hold on. It says from the 70s to 80s, black feminists formed various groups which addressed the role of black women. Now, this is what they formed their groups for. Now, remember what was going on in the 70s and the 80s was heroin, Vietnam, crack, the destruction of the black community, the destruction of the black household, right? Here's what these black feminist groups got together to talk about. The role of black women in black nationalism, gay liberation, and second wave feminism. What is black nationalism? Anybody? Anybody know what black nationalism is? Come on, Sharma.
Like black people can have like national day or something?
No. Black nationalism advocates a racial definition or redefinition of national identity. Everybody understand? Black nationalist movements were movements like the Black Panthers, movements like Marcus Garvey's movement, the Pan-African movement, movements like the Malachi York with the New Wabianism, or I'm trying to think of something that might be popular, or the Moorish movement, the Moorish science movement, right? Black nationalism is black people coming together and say, we got to come up with an identity that separates and distinguishes us from white people, right? Well, today, what do we call black nationalists? We Hebrew Israelites, right? I.S.U.P.K. What do we call other black people who don't want to necessarily be joined the white people, but want to identify with something other than being a white, an American or an African American? We have a term for them collectively. All the black nationalists together. What do we call them? What do they call themselves?
Communists.
Huh?
Communists.
Not communists.
Black leaders.
Not black leaders.
Slaves.
No, not slaves. Who do we battle against? Who's Tazaryak battling in New York every week? He battling the Christians, but that Sarnetta TV, what is that? Shama. What do we call them? Egyptologists, Moorish Science Temple, Pan-Africans. Put them together, what do they call? The conscious community. Everybody understand? The conscious community, they are all black nationalists. Well, regardless of what they believe in, all of them believe in creating an identity for black people, right? You got Egyptologists that want to say, hey, we Africans. You got Pan-Africans who want to say, we African people. You got the Moorish science who want to say we Moors. You understand? All of them together, they're black nationalists. Now, during the 70s and 80s, the women of the black feminist movement wanted to have a voice in the black nationalist movement. which is why every conscious community group does what to black women? How do the Egyptologists feel about black women?
I think the black woman is God.
She's God. How do the Pan-African look at black women? All of those that want to be Africans go back to Africa. How do they look at black women? Sharma.
Look at him as God.
Look at them as God. All of these black groups, what is the Christian church? How do they look at black women? How do the Christian church look at black women?
Look at him as God.
Look at them as God. They all look at the women as God because black feminists stepped in the 70s and 80s and said, y'all better recognize us as God. They did the same thing that white women did. They wanted to take authority, take power. How does a woman take power from a man? Take away his masculinity. Everybody understand? Black feminists did the same thing that white feminists did. They wanted to take power from the man, which is why in all of those organizations, even going back to the Black Panthers, all of them had what? Had a prominent black woman speaker. Black woman speak at some rally or some gathering, talking about fighting the fight and you know, liberation, when that is not the role of a woman. That is not a woman's place in the battle. Everybody understand? But black feminists don't want there to be any gender roles. That's sexist to say, sis, this is a man's job to go out on the street and teach and reach the people and tell these men they wrong and tell these women to get themselves together. You tell a black feminist that, she gonna tell you that you sexist. And then you think because you a man, you supposed to run everything and I don't have no voice. When what have they done with their voice? What have black women done with their voice? I'm on.
Like I was going to say, I mean, curse out their husbands.
I say curse out their husbands. They done something worse though. Sis. They've destroyed the black family. Women seeking power has turned our sons into faggots. It has turned our daughters into whores. It has allowed pedophile, child molesting men to come into our homes and destroy these young men and women. Everybody understand? It has completely turned our women out. Black women that think that they God, think that they are power or authority or that someone should listen to what they have to say, have destroyed the black community. They are the ones that's fighting for a man's right to be a woman. Everybody understand? It said that the black feminists wanted to have a voice in black nationalism, gay liberation, and the second wave, and the second wave of feminism. You understand? Real quick. It says proponents of black feminism argue that black women are positioned within structures of power in fundamentally different ways from white women. The distinction of black feminism has birthed the derisive tag white feminists used to criticize feminists who do not acknowledge issues of intersectionality. Critics of black feminism argue that racial divisions weaken the strength of the overall feminist movement. Hold on. Okay, among the theories that evolved out of the black feminist movement are Alice Walker's womanism and historical revisionism with an increased focus on black women. Angela Davis, Bell Hooks, Kimberly Williams Crenshaw, and Patricia Hill Collins have emerged as leading academics on black feminism, whereas black celebrities, notably Beyonce, have encouraged mainstream discussion of black feminism. Now, what is the feminism that women like Beyonce are pushing? If we look at Beyonce and everything she represents, what does it mean to be a black woman feminist, sis? I can be naked when I want to be naked. But guess what? Now this is the insanity of it. You can be naked anytime you want, like Beyonce, right? But if I walk up to you and say, "Hey, what's up, shawty, with that fat ass and them titties?" What am I? What am I? You walking around with your ass and your titties out. But I go and I say, "What's up with that ass and them titties?" Excuse my French. What am I?
Sexist.
I'm sexist. I'm a pig. How dare you objectify me as a sexual object, bitch? Look at how you dress. How can I not sexually objectify you? How can I not treat you like you a piece of meat? You understand? You know what a black feminist won't do? She won't cover herself up. She won't wear a dress and cover her head. You know why? Why won't she do it? Why don't black feminists why don't they cover themselves up? Why don't they, you know what I'm saying, cover their head or dress modestly?
Because of put them, in many places being a woman.
It's sexist. You understand? Now you see how you cannot be a black feminist that's naked and not be a sexist. Like, okay, this is the point of feminism, period. The point of feminism is to let women rule, and no one better not say nothing or we're gonna bite your head off. That's feminism in a nutshell. Feminism is whatever a woman feels, whatever she thinks, you gotta let it ride. Because if you say anything against it, you're wrong. You understand? So a black feminist could be a hoe and a slut with 5 kids, 5 different baby daddies, on government assistance, but she's a victim because the world is against her. And men objectify her as a sexual object and they treat her like she's a dog and she's a piece of meat. But if you say, well, maybe you shouldn't have had 5 kids by 5 different men. Maybe you should dress and cover yourself up. Maybe you should listen to what your man tells you after he rolls over from off top of you. Maybe you'll keep a man. She'll say you're sexist and I refuse to live in a world where I have to submit and humble myself to men. Well, okay. Well, so how you going to if that's the case, then why do you go to the government for welfare? If that's the case, why do you even have sex with men? If that's the case, then, what is the point of all this shit you're doing in life? They can never answer those questions because it's not about thinking. It's not about rationality. It's about how they feel. She wake up, she feels like she's strong and independent. She can dress like however she wants. She sees a man she likes and she has sex with him. He tell her, make me a sandwich, and she say, hell no. He leave. Now she's alone. She's a victim now. You understand? That's black feminism. Black feminism is the destruction of black women. You understand? It is to teach black women not to care about themselves, not to value themselves, do what you want, be what you want, go where you want, have sex with who you want, and anyone that speaks against it, they hate women, they're sexist. You understand? Come on with it.
That had to be today, coming to class.
It happens every day.
On the bus, so this young sister, she coming down the street, pushing a cart with Daisy Dukes on. Mm-hmm. So all this is out. All this is out.
Mm-hmm.
So people over at me, I said, damn, right? See, you fucking pervert. Me out.
I mean, but goddamn, you half naked out here.
Yeah.
You understand?
Said,
come on with it.
So everything that you were saying with Isaiah 3 and 12, that sum it all up.
Yes, Isaiah 3 and 12 will sum it up. Any scripture about I'm gonna get into some scriptures before the class is over, but any scriptures about a whorish woman, a shameless woman, all of it comes from the ideology of feminism, of a woman's freedom to do whatever she wants. A woman should not be free to do what she wants. Why? Why shouldn't a woman be free to do what she wants? Come on with it.
That makes her the
brother behind her.
Because she's going to try to overpower the man.
No. It's it's more simpler than that. A lot of women do not want to hear this, but they cannot deny that it's true. SHALAM.
They act off emotion.
So what does that mean? They act off emotions.
They don't know how to handle pressure.
Okay. How does their emotions play into that? And what type of pressure are we talking about? This thing is, there's a reason why women should not be allowed to do whatever they want to do. And it's very, very simple. It's a very basic thing, sis. Because the Bible says so, of course. Scripture says so. But why did the scripture say it? Why did the Lord say to watch over a woman and be careful over her and rule over her, instruct her and lead her and guide her? Because of Eve. What did Eve do? Here's why women should not be able to do what she wants to do. Sis. Yes, sis. Okay. Think of Eve, right? Before she stumbled into the serpent, how was Eve's life?
Everything that she did and learned was from Adam.
You right, but how was her life? I'm asking that. Everything she did and learned was from Adam. How was that for her? Was it good? Was it enjoyable, sis? She had a good life. Eve had a wonderful life. Eve ain't want for nothing. Her life was perfect. Then she stumbled into this serpent. And the serpent, okay, so her life was perfect. She met the serpent, right? Met this man. What did she do after that, sis? Sis and I. She followed what he told her. She didn't do what she wanted to do. She did what someone told her to do. You understand? The reason why women should not have the freedom to do what they want to do is because women do not know what they want to do. Everything a woman does is what someone tells her to do. All the way down to fashion, how they wear their hair, how they wear their nails, how they, everything a woman does is because it's what someone told her to do. Now, a lot of women would like to think that they independent and they think for themselves and they free-minded, but it's sad to say you're not. Everything you do as a woman, everything you've ever done is because it's what someone told you to do. Everybody understand? These black women that think it's okay to just go have sex with any man, are they doing it because they really like having sex with any man? The women that's on a stripper pole and having sex with a new cat every night, is she happy in her life? Is she truly satisfied? Is she stable? Is she feel wanted and loved and cared for? No, it is a miserable life. So why does she live it? Why be a hoe? Why be a stripper? Why be a prostitute? Why have sex with a different man every night? Does anybody know why they do it? Show them off.
To fulfill their lust.
Okay, but where does that lust come from? Show them off.
Demon.
Comes from a demon, but that's in the woman's mind. What does she think? The woman that has sex with a different man every night. Why does she think she's doing it? Sis. Because it's love to her. But how is it love to her if she doesn't feel good? If she's miserable? She's having sex with a different man every night, but she really wants one man to have sex with forever. So in her mind, as she's having sex with a different man every night, what is she saying? Why is she doing it? To her, why is she having sex with a different man every night? In her mind. Just think the simple thing.
Because she really can't be pleased the way she wants to.
No, that's not true. She's being pleased. She done found a man in her life that made that thing feel good. But then the next morning she went and got with somebody else. Why? Mutaziala. Because society, the video girls is hoes and having sex with a different man every night. Rihanna is, on the TV and dating Drake one week, and then she dating, which I don't know who them hoes is dating, but she's trying to be like the women she see on TV. She's trying to be like the women she hears the rappers talk about. She's trying to be cool and accepted. She wants to be a part of something. Them women that strippers, when they were 7 years old, their dream was not to become a stripper. Everybody understand? Little girls dream about, little kids, period. Men and girls. They dream about, good things. No woman dreams about, having sex with a different man every night when she's 7. You understand? Every man, you a kid, they ask you what you gonna be when you grow up. Firefighter, policeman, a soldier. Of course, this is if your family not in the truth, but we all have things we want to be when we grow up. No 7-year-old wants to grow up and be a dope boy. You understand? Show them up.
I just want to say this. Earlier when I was walking downtown with my program, I seen the female. She had I met God that she black shirt in. And I seen that on Facebook. That's one of the Egyptologists put it up. And I was just thinking about that scripture that we went over yesterday. No, it was Tuesday. I think it's in Isaiah.
Mm-hmm.
I said that he defined himself as he. He made a difference between she and he, said that he. So you know that he's talking about up.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, you're right. The people that wear them shirts, okay, the world has fallen in love with the idea that women are God. You understand? Why? Because everybody likes vagina. But a weak man who does not have his masculinity values vagina over himself. A real man knows that vagina is no good without a penis, a man. Everybody understands? Real men know the value of a vagina, and we know that without a man protecting and leading and guiding the woman who has that vagina is no good. Because once she gives it to everybody, nobody wants it for real. It's just something to do for a moment, and then you never think about it for the rest of your life. Women don't know that. So the men that tell women that they are God do not care about them women. They're telling the woman what she wants to hear so they can have sex with her. Everybody understands? Getting back to the point I was making about why women should not have the freedom to do what they want to do, because what a woman wants changes every 5 seconds. And what a woman wants to do changes like their emotions. 1 second she's happy, she wants to go and do this and that. Next moment, I don't know, I'm not sure if I want to do that anymore. I want to go do this thing. I want to go do this. I want to go do that. They're very indecisive. You understand? Feminism plays on that. It caters to a woman's double-mindedness. You understand? Caters to a woman's willingness to quickly change what she wants to be and how she feels. As a black woman today, there's moments where black women feel that they're independent. Got a job, making good money, hard working, and it's good to go. And they feel like I can do this all by myself. But then they come home and there's nobody there, and then they lonely. And they sad. And she wants a man. Then she gets a man, and she has sex with him. She cooks him dinner, and she feels good. And then he says, well, baby, I'm going to need you to do this and do that. Then she feels, I don't need you. I'm independent. You can't tell me what to do. I'm a strong black woman. Then he leaves. And then she's sad again. Men ain't no good. Can't stand these men. I don't need no man. Men ain't shit. I ain't never having sex with another man in my life. Then a week later, or 2 days later, or 3 hours later, oh, I miss him. He made me feel so good. He was so sweet to me. What did I do? Why did I run him away? Why do I run away all the good men? Then she goes meet some cat that, that she thinks is too good to be true. She has sex with him and find out that he's having sex with men. Then it's all these men are no good. They disgusting. They, can't find a good man. Women don't know what they want. Everybody understand? You ever met a woman that is successful and seemed like she got it all together? She went to school, got a good job, making good money, and she dressed nice and hair done, nails done. But then you find out she got a baby by a cat with tattoos all over his face that's doing life in jail. You ever met a woman like that?
I don't want God.
You ever say to yourself, why the hell she have a baby by that cat? She had all of this going for her. Why would she go have a baby with the cat with the tattoos all over his face that was selling dope and murdering people? Y'all ain't ever thought that before? Why did she do it? Show him off.
Because she ran all the dudes away and they went for a loan, so she wanted to go get her.
No, because she thought the face tattoo cat was cool. He was cool. He looked like he had some good sex. The cats that's in school with her, studying hard and passing A's on their tests, that's dressing all proper, they were squares. So she wanted to live on the wild side, and she wanted to go have sex with the tattoo face cat. Got a baby, and now her baby ain't got no father. You understand? Why did she have sex with that cat? Because she don't know what to do. She don't know what she wants. She does anything. There's women having sex out here with niggas because of their Jordans. You know why niggas buy Jordans and pay $200 for Jordans? Because a woman will see them Jordans and have sex with you because you got on those Jordans. Now, did my Jordans help her at all? Did my Jordans do anything for her? Did my Jordans, and having sex with me because of my Jordans, make her feel like, yeah, girl, the nigga with the Jordans hit it? Did my Jordans do anything for her? So why the hell she have sex with me because of these Jordans? Because at that moment, she thought, Jordans is nice. I'll give him some sex. because she's stupid. She doesn't know that my Jordans is just there for her to want them. I mean, for her to see that I have them and to give me some sex. But my Jordans don't mean that I care, that I give a damn. All they mean is that I paid $200 for some shoes. You understand? Women, they do not know how to control their emotions. Therefore, they can't control their thoughts and they can't control their actions, which is why every woman desperately needs a father. And after a father, she needs a husband who's going to lead and guide and care and protect her the way a father does. Everybody understand? Those are the benefits of a patriarchal society. The benefits of a society where the man is in charge saves a woman from her indecisiveness, from her emotions. You understand? From her femininity destroying her. Women need masculinity to help keep that femininity in check. The same way a man needs femininity to stop the masculinity from making him destroy everything. Could you imagine what life would be like without the idea of getting a woman? I would be mad all the time. I would be wanting to fight all the time. I would be inciting riots. I would be starting a fight. You understand? Because there's no calm, no peace, no it's going to be all right at life. And I mean, no, it's going to be all right at night. You understand? A cat that's pent up of masculinity that does not have a feminine release is a cat that is, he needs to go to war. He needs to battle and fight, or else he'll just explode on somebody. You understand? Men and women need one another, but our roles are very important and they need to be specified. Women need to be women that need a man. A man needs to be a man that needs a woman. If you don't have that, then you have, America in 2016. Women that say that they are feminists and they don't want gender roles to be defined, you just tell her, all right, well, we get together, we ever be in a relationship, we in the bed together and somebody breaking in, you got to go check the noise. You understand? There's a mouse in the house, you got to go get the rat traps. And when the trap snap, you got to go get the mouse and you throw them in the trash. Challenge you meet a black woman that's a feminist, just challenge her like that. You will realize real quick that she ain't really a feminist like she thinks she is. You black woman that's feminist, tell her to take you out on a date. You taking me out on a date, you footing the bills. You ain't with the gender roles, you understand? See how she react. Now, 9 times out of 10, black feminists are women who have been molested, who have been raped, who have been traumatized, and they hate men. You understand? The ones who don't hate men, they have been indoctrinated with a white philosophy that they don't need a man for anything and that they're good all by themselves. Feminism, black feminism, in actuality, is Christianity. It is a religion and a belief that tells a woman that she can do whatever she wants, whenever she wants, wherever she wants, and that God will love her anyway. When really God loving a woman is her loving herself. Black women in the Christian church that say Jesus loved me, what they're really saying is I love me. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. Everybody understand? But that's not all that matters at the end of the day. What matters at the end of the day is how the Most High sees your actions, what he sees in you. And if the Lord sees evil and wickedness and everything that goes against his laws, he's going to destroy you. Which is why the black men who treat black women like they just sex things and throw them away, that's why they catch diseases. That's why they got 5 baby mamas and they on child support and they about to go to jail. You understand? That's why every woman they ever get with is a hoe and a slut, and their daughters going to be hoes and sluts because they don't value women. Everybody understand? Every woman that thinks that she's independent and grown and free and do whatever she want to do, that's why she has sex with a whole bunch of men and nobody really loves her. So nobody really cares about her and never teaches her how a woman is supposed to be and conduct herself and treat herself. And they destroy. You understand? They destroy their kids, destroy, the women around them. We got to come back to the Bible. We got to come back to what the Lord established, which is a patriarchal society where men rule over women by protecting them and leading them and guiding them, showing them the right way to be and being right themselves. Everybody understand? Just because you're a man and the Lord requires you to be in a position of leadership, to be a priest and a king and a father, it doesn't mean that women are any less valuable. Everybody understand? But it is a fact that it's easier to raise up a man and train a man than it is to raise up a woman. Everybody understand? So y'all go out into the world with the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the Lord, and you want to have wives and have children and raise sons and raise daughters, make sure that you are in a position to be what the Lord called you to be, so that we can stop the cycle of destruction of our women, you understand, of our men, of our young girls that has been pushed on us by the white woman, by the white man. Everybody understand? Any questions? Come on with it.
So, in reality, a woman needs a male because she wants that father figure, and the male needs a woman for that motherly love, that tenderness.
Don't think of the tenderness, but don't think of the motherly love. Like, okay, there once was a time amongst our people where black women had their fathers. We talked about the 20s and the 30s. Our grandparents, right? The majority of our grandparents had both of their parents there, father and a mother. Those men was able to teach their sons how to be men, and was able to teach their daughters what a man is supposed to be like. A lot of those men from the 20s and the 30s and the 40s, they were able to marry their daughters off. They were able to meet the man that wanted to marry their daughter, sit down, have a conversation with him, and marry their daughter off and say, okay, now you're going to go, he's going to be your father. He's going to lead and guide you. But after the 50s and the 60s, that shit went out the window, because the men, just the boys who was raised by those fathers who had fathers, went to the war and died, or they got hooked on drugs. So the generation, like my generation that came up in the 80s, a lot of us ain't have no fathers. Or we had grandfathers who was old by that time and wasn't able to really put the foot in us like they needed to. So we never really learned how to be men. Me personally, I was raised by my mother. And I thought that the way to be a man with a woman was to cater to what she wanted and what she thought. And, I ended up with a lot of strong women, and I was a weak man. And because I was a weak man, I did not know how to protect them. I did not know how to lead them. I did not know how to guide them. But I could talk slick, so I was able to get them to do evil things that I wanted them to do. But I wasn't able to lead them and guide them and instruct them in the right way. It wasn't until I came into the truth and learned how to be a man of God that I understood the importance of masculinity, understood the importance of being a leader and a guider and a protector of a woman. Everybody understand? But a man needs the comfort and the compassion and the gentleness of a woman, the same way that she needs the firmness and the strength and the strictness of a man. We go hand in hand, you know what I'm saying? And we're not gonna be able to be a nation unless we come together the right way. Men by themselves can't build this nation. Women for sure can't do nothing without the men. So together, men and women, we're gonna be able to have children, raise children, stand together and establish a new foundation for the future generations to come. Because if we don't do something now, man, there ain't gonna be no future generation. The way it is out here now, Ty Ward posted a picture today of a fucking bathroom and had the man and the woman crossed out and had a green sticker and a yellow sticker. What the hell am I supposed to do with that? I'm about to not use the bathroom in public no more. I'm about to just go use the bathroom at home. I mean, and the shit was so, it was so ubiquitous. What's the word? It was so like general that you could have used either bathroom. It was like, if you're green and you clean, use this bathroom. And the other one was like, if you're yellow and you're mellow, identify with yellow, use here. And I'm like, well, goddamn, I can use either bathroom. Now, what's horrible is if you're a man with children and your 7-year-old daughter goes into the yellow bathroom, there may be a man in there that feels mellow and yellow, and she's in the bathroom with this 32-year-old man. Now, what's about to happen is you're gonna have to go in the bathroom with your kids now. If you're a father, you got in this situation, you got 3 boys, 2 girls, y'all all gonna have to go to the same bathroom. Because if you let your daughters go in the bathroom alone, there's no guarantee that there's not a man in there. So you're gonna have to take your kids to the bathroom together. It's a horrible situation, man. But that is what feminism does. By letting a woman do whatever she wants and says whatever she wants, and you better not say nothing to her, or else you're evil and you hate women and you're a rapist, then you gotta just deal with it. Come on with it, y'all, Ma.
Nobody tell you cry. You know why? Because I never saw you before. But you a black man like me. And it works out.
My whole life was trying to find something to follow. Had loyalty, every man tried to borrow. Felt pain and a lot of sorrow. Got betrayed, so packs I didn't even have my heart broke. Living confused, about to lose hope. Cops got me on the side of the road like a sideshow. Need an antidote before I croak. Now I'm setting fire to rhythm man blues, call this guitar smoke. Rebel with no cause, trying to find direction. The world got me vexed. Picked up a bad liquor habit that's hereditary from oppression. Felt like my life was on fire, trying to find an exit. Now look, 10 G's plus a good wreck. Sometimes a follower is a soldier, trying to find a good shepherd. Plus when you in hell, how do you excel? Wisdom the breath of life, I don't believe in fairy tale. Listen well to what I tell. No calling can cause pain. Something that a rebel knows very well. Can't you tell I was sent from the Lord? Got a tongue like a two-edged sword.